This is Tom Fox. Welcome to the newest edition in the Compliance Podcast Network. My latest podcast, Compliance and Coronavirus. As the voice of compliance, I wanted to start a podcast which will help bring both clarity and sanity to the field of compliance, the compliance practitioner, and indeed the compliance profession during this worldwide health and healthcare crisis. Taking up a variety of topics as diverse as working from home to sporting events, to the role of the board of directors, to crisis management, to the role of supply chains. We will look at all of these in this podcast. If you have a topic you'd like covered on compliance and coronavirus, please let me know. I'd be happy to do a podcast on it. We will post on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9 a.m. Central Time for the foreseeable future as we navigate our way through this incredible crisis. First, a word about our sponsor, SAI Global. With the coronavirus and COVID-19 pandemic continuing to change rapidly, trust and integrity are paramount to business continuity preparedness. SAI Global is here to help compliance and risk professionals facing these challenges, including unprecedented business impacts from employee well-being to disrupted supply chains. SAI 360 is a cloud-first software and modern ethics and compliance learning platform designed to help you navigate risk from every perspective. To learn more about how you can protect your business operations and workforce during these uncertain times, visit saiglobal.com/risk for free resources, expert guidance, and industry-leading technology. Thanks again to SAI Global for sponsoring this most important podcast. In this episode, I have Jeffrey Hayzlett. Jeffrey is the president of the Hero Club and the founder of the C-Suite Networks. He talks to us about 5 key goals you should have while getting through the time of the coronavirus health crisis and current economic dislocation. Hello everyone, Tom Fox back for another episode, and today I'm pleased to have with me Jeffrey Hayzlett. Jeffrey is the founder of the C-Suite Network.
How's that?
And he is on a mission to keep communications, compliance, and all forms of business professionals focused during this highly uncertain time of the coronavirus crisis. So, Jeffrey, first of all, welcome and thank you for taking the time to visit with me today.
And thank you very much for being a part of C-Suite Radio and also just bringing all these helpful hints to people right now in this changing environment. That's what we got to call it. You know, Tom, what I would do is I'd tell people to focus on what I call the 5 keeps. But first of all, I'm kind of calling it to keep your hat on, keep your head in the game, because that's the most important thing to do right now. But my first keep is keep your customers engaged. It's really important right now. Your customers are looking for help. Don't try to really sell them, but by selling them, you want to be able to inform them, help them, and reach out. And so that's what I want you to do. So we're doing regular huddles with all of our customers and all of our customer groups and reaching out to them to say, hey, what can we do? How can we help? I'm bringing subject matter experts like Tom Fox here onto my show and to my customers in webinars and other kinds of meetings. These Zoom huddles is what we're calling them, so they can get together and get a chance to know what's going on, what's available to them, how things are going, and get them the kind of resources that they're going to need to be able to make their business. So you want to ask them, hey, how can I help? What can I do to help you? That's number one. Number two is you got to keep your employees focused, Again, daily huddles or huddles. So I'm having daily huddles with the team, each of the functions, with our operations team, our customer service team, with our sales team, especially our sales team, also with my marketing team, so I can keep that business flowing the way that I want to do. So we're having those daily huddles, and I'm asking them, hey, what are the 3 to 5 things that you're going to do today that lead us where we need to go? And at the end of the day, I want you to tell me how you're doing. So I really need that feedback from you to make sure that we're moving the needle, we're moving the ball across the line. You got to keep your employees focused. And the other thing I'm going to tell you got to do, I just had a conversation, just hung up with my team doing my huddle, and I said, hey, I made payroll. I made payroll for you, so you know what's coming. I'm telling them it's not easy, but I want them to also know I'm helping, I'm keeping my word, and I'm doing these things for you. You got to keep helping me. I want them to know from a communications perspective that I'm still providing, them a paycheck and value and so forth. And then I'm explaining, hey, what's going on with the loan program, how that's going to work. It's going to take a couple of weeks, but we think we've got it worked out. We think we got the next payroll covered. We got everything moving the way we want to. All of those things keep your teams informed and keep them focused. Number 3, you got to keep the cash flow moving. You got to keep that cash moving. So I want you to think about this. Now, Tom's the attorney, so he's the guy that can tell you all the legal stuff. But, you got to look at forbearance programs. What can you put off? What can you set aside? Someone just came to me and said, hey, these guys are asking about this bill. I said, they're not mission critical. Hold them off. Pay them 1/10 of it if that's what we're going to do. But hold it off. We're not going to pay that bill in full because I'm anticipating I'm going to need cash a little bit later. And by the way, let's think about this a little bit later. Everybody's worried about you're going to survive. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Come on, settle down. Keep your head in the game. You got to worry about the next 60 days. That's really what you got to worry about. You just got to get through the next 60 days because the government's going to throw money at us because they've decided that it's easier to work with the businesses and keep the employees in the businesses than have us throw them all over to unemployment, all into the government programs. It's someone, whoever came up with this, I don't know who, the congressman, the senator, the administrator, the Fed agent, I don't know who it was. Kudos to you. This is the first time I've ever heard, hey, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. And it's actually something I want to hear. Okay. So I got to give them kudos, but think about the things that you can do. Push off your rents, push off any payment you can. You're still going to owe it. Okay. And you might be able to negotiate it down. It could be some good bargains right now too, as part of this crisis. Also loans. Where can you, life insurance, what can you tap right now to get your free cash up so that you're ready? Because not only there's, you got to take care of the business, but there's also, if you're like me, I'm actually buying businesses right now. I'm looking for things that we could do that actually will gain us into the marketplace. So think about what all these other ancillary expenses that you might not need. You can cut them back, or go to look through all the, what I call the giveaway monies. These things are the things that are in your credit card every single month you don't even know you're doing. And look at some of those. I found a subscription for $39.99. I've been paying for a year and a half. I didn't even know I had it. Shame on me. I could have bought a good couple bottles of scotch right there. So think about all the things that you could do. And also don't be afraid of not taking revenue and having them pay you later, but getting them going now. So think about, hey, look, I got that you're afraid about that. Don't pay me in the next 60 days. I'm going to do the work. And in 60 days, you can start to pay me. That's okay. At least you're getting the business going because we're going to have a restart. And when we have this restart, I want you ready for it. I want your mind in the game and you're moving ahead. That's really what you want to do. Now, number 4, keep continuity. Okay. I don't want to see you in meetings on the Zoom and pajamas and on the couch. Okay. You got to keep continuity and you dress for success. So I want to see you dressed right. I want you having a regular routine. I want you taking care of yourself. Those are the things that we want to see happen every single day. Have regular business hours, hold your team to those regular business hours. My team tried to do the team huddle like at 4:00, 5:00. And the reason is because I want to keep them engaged throughout the entire day. At the end of the day, that's their time. But come on, let's be clear. I said this to my employees. Not every single employee is working 24, working like I'm working like most of us are working. And I got to imagine why they're at home. They're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this, and they're doing this. So I'm trying to keep their head in the game. Again, that was back to my second point about keeping employees focused. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, Tom, is spirit. You got to keep your spirit up. It's tough, man. I get it. You got a lot on your shoulders right now as a business leader, a lot of responsibility, a lot of lives at stake, even outside, a lot of us in the business, we're business first responders. That's what leadership's about. We got to go in, rush into the fire. That's what we have to do. And it's tough. And I know it's tough, but listen, 60 days. You got to get through the 60 days. Keep your spirit up because people are counting on it. Mood is a killer. So you can't get down on the mood. You got to keep the mood up. That's my 5, Tom. That's the ones I'm going with. Oh, and I'd say one more thing. Find a group you can join. Join a tribe. We got our C-Suite network, and we got more members coming in than we've ever seen before. Join a tribe Get with some people that can help you, that will help you keep that spirit up, will give you this advice, be a resource for you, for resource guides and all the stuff in the ever-changing environment that we're seeing, especially with all the government programs that are coming out. They're changing every minute. And so you got to keep up on that. And so be a part of a group or a tribe, and join a couple of them, quite frankly, because you expand. I don't mean to be callous, but don't waste the good crisis. And so focus in on that. There you go, Tom. You put a quarter in, you're going to go for the full ride here, man.
One of the things you said near the end that really I've heard you say a couple of times that struck me, that to me is the most important, is you have to run to the fire now.
Yeah.
You have to run to the fire to keep your business going, but you have to run to the fire for when the recovery hits. Yeah. And what's the reputation of your company going to be coming out of this? Have you helped your customers? Have you been there for your employees? And are you ready to take advantage of the whirlwind that will hit in the late summer or fall?
Yeah, without question. In fact, I'm looking at businesses who are here showing up. And if you're not showing up, I'm going to think about you later. Meaning I'm not going to have you in the consideration factor. But if you were here helping me and trying to do things now, I am going to remember that. I will take that to the grave. And that's going to come through in so much of what we do and how we do it. So, but don't sit back. If you ponder, you'll squander. If you wait, you'll seal your fate. I mean, that almost sound like I'm like Jesse Jackson there, but that's dating me, isn't it? Well, anyway, but the key thing is you don't want to pause. You want to push here. And this is what you want to keep in mind. You don't want to pause. You want to push. You want to run into the fire, because what's the alternative? Quit? You don't want to quit. We want to see you succeed. And if you're going to succeed, you got to get your head in the game. You got to stay in the game, and you got to use every waking minute. Don't be out there cutting your grass and cutting your bushes. I haven't taken 1 day off, 1 minute off, because I'm focused on how we can succeed and how we can succeed during this incredibly challenging time. And you should be doing the same thing. That's what we should do. And then once we get this country back on its right track, then we can cut the hedges and we can mow the grass.
Well, Jeffrey, unfortunately, we're near the end of our time, but this has been great. I really appreciate you taking the time to visit with me today.
Thank you. And thanks for being a part of C-Suite Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox again. I'd like to thank you for listening to this episode of Compliance and Coronavirus. If you have any questions or you have a topic you would like explored on this podcast, please shoot me an email at tfox@tfoxlaw.com. Also, as a call to action, I would ask if you could to please tell one of your friends about the podcast so we can spread the word out about the newest podcast on the Compliance Podcast Network. Also, if you would leave us a rating on iTunes or a review, it would greatly help get the word out about this most important podcast over the next several months. Thanks again for listening, and I hope you'll join me for our next episode of Compliance and Coronavirus. This podcast is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.